Hi, thanks for joining me again for another Mark III chassis AK build video. I must apologise for the haphazard fashion of the upcoming videos. They were done kind of last minute. I decided to do a first start of the car just before I shipped the car off to the paint shop. And you know, it was a last minute decision. I just wanted to make sure all my wiring was basically correct, so I wasn't worrying about it whilst it was gone and what I might have to do when it came back. So join me for that. We're going to jump straight into it, and then after that we're doing the paint reveal. I really hope you like the colour. Please leave me a comment, and that's it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in a sec. All right, here we go. So fresh from wiring the dash, so I've now put the terminal on there, and I've slung the dashboard in, so we'll see how that goes. Everything's just hanging at the moment because I'm quite eager to see if this starts. I guess what I'm going to do first of all is just turn on the ignition and see if we've got any leaks, and if everything sort of looks good, you know, because hopefully that'll just engage the fuel pump, and we should hear some whirring and stuff, and then if everything looks good we'll go for a start. So let's go. All right, so that's kind of a good start. Right, so I've got a bit of a leak around this this fuel pressure contraption, which is a bit of a bugger. But not too bad having it there, so I think we're just going to go for it. So don't think I've got a leak there, and that's all looking good. Right, let's see if the rest of my dash worked. So we'll do some lights. Okay, we've got some dash lights. We've got main lights. I've got full beam, although it's not doing the light on the dash, which is a bit disappointing. I haven't done hat. I've got no fan. That's also disappointing. I haven't wired the fog yet, so that's fine. So I think we're just going to go for it and see what happens. Maybe I'll put my foot in there as well to do the give it a bit of gas. Right, let's go. That just took off. I need to open some more windows there. How did it start so fast? Is it because I primed the fuel? Right, we need to be checking for leaks, I guess. So a bit underneath the car. Nothing immediate on the cardboard. So we need to check for radiator leaks in a bit. Blimey. Okay, so yeah, like I said, we got some lights, and high beam. That doesn't come up on the dash. Oh my god, what is that about? I'm pretty made up for that. I'm pretty made up so far. At least the thing starts. That is there's quite a lot of smoke here. What's going on with that? And we also need to check, make sure the fan is pushing rather than pulling, or I mean pulling rather than pushing. So it hasn't got the temperature yet, but that is one of the main things. Otherwise, we need to switch some stuff. So I'm hoping all that smoke is just oil and crap burning off, and my exhaust aren't obviously done up quite yet with the U-bolts, so that might be that. There's quite a lot of smoke. Not sure anything else is leaking. There's nothing leaking. That's burning off and finishing. Maybe it's all generally around the hedges, I think. Is that just drying out? And maybe that's just drying out. No, I'm not too concerned, I don't think. At the end of the day, it is literally just coming off the headers. So I think we're alright there. I'm pretty amazed. I even forgot to tiger seal in my air sensor there as well. Could do with feeding that fan soon. So we'll just give it another couple of minutes. I think on your first start you're going to let it run for a good 10-15 minutes anyway. So so we'll do that, and I'll catch up with you in a minute. Alright, so we just had a minor coughing fit there because it's getting a little bit gassy in there. Anyway, still purring along. I can't believe how quickly that started. I'm starting to get some water temperature showing, which is good. I think the fan kicks in around 80, 85. Volts are all volting. Rev counter registers, and I just put my foot on the gas and that popped it up, so that was good. Obviously got a lot of queries there with some of the wiring. I mean, the main headlamp's not working. I mean, the warning light is quite a worry because it's quite a basic connection. That my handbrake works, but the opposite way round, and I also need it to illuminate when it's on. So that's not doing it. So with the handbrake on, I can push this wheel around and then off. So I mean, obviously just switch some wires around, but we also need to make it illuminate. Yeah, I can't push this now, so I need to adjust that. But the smoke is generally stopped in the engine bay. So hopefully that will just burn some stuff off. Not sure what to do about the leak over on the pressure regulator, because it's done up pretty tight and with all the necessary O-rings, so I'm not sure what else to put in there. Although I know I can put in a little bit of blue Hylamar if I had to, if indeed it's leaking on the joint, or whether I just need to do up the sort of P-clip a little bit higher, the Jubilee clip. Anyway, I'll give it another couple of minutes. Okay, so you can probably hear the fan, and I'm pretty confident that is pulling. Although you do get a little bit of blow back, I think. I'm not actually confident about that. I'm going to have to check which way the fan's rotating when I turn the engine off. It does seem to be keeping the engine water temperature down. I can't quite tell, which is a bit strange. It feels, I can feel a bit on my hand. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's pulling. Alright, I stand corrected, that is actually blowing the wrong way. I just did a little bit of a tissue test, and that's definitely going the wrong way, so I need to switch over my connections there, which is a bit of a bugger because they're not exactly easy to get to now. But anyway, not the worst issue. Well, sorry about all the flapping around there and the talking rubbish, because to be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a mechanic, you know. I can put things together and bolt them together pretty well, but as to fixing issues, that's another story, although I am getting a bit better. So pretty made up with that. I mean, literally, I mean, the fact that it started, that means the Canems is wired correctly, the AK loom is basically wired correctly, so at least I don't have to go back and deal with any of that, which is fantastic. You know, the tacho worked, the rev counter worked, so that all my wiring is basically okay. Need to switch out the fan, switch over the fan, because I put some paper in front and it was blowing it out the nose, so it needs to be sucking it in. Although when I just turned it off and I watched the fan rotation, I swear that's going in the right direction, but it's obviously not. So what else do I need to do? Well, I need to revel in the fact that I got it working and how quickly that started. I barely touched that ignition, that starter button, and it just fired. I hadn't even primed the accelerator once. I'd left the which you probably don't need to do, right, in a pressured fuel system, I guess, because the fuel's already been pushed around to wherever it needs to go straight away. Not like in the old Mini where you used to have to press it a couple of times for it to fire before you started it. So anyway, it started a lot quicker than my previous four, actually. I mean, even that they started pretty quickly, but you know, it needed, you know, a second and a half or 2 seconds before it caught, and this was just on it, so I'm quite made up with that. Brand new battery, only installed 2 days ago, so that could help. Anyway, we've got some stuff to do, so I need to fix all the wiring faults on the dash and get the indicators and the hazard working. Quite chuffed that the headlights all work and stuff. The parking brake was the wrong way round, which is really strange because that actually is wired as per the instructions that AK had put in the book. So I'm not quite sure why it was pushing instead of pulling, but maybe I just need to turn the positive and negative from the RAM onto the other points, and then it'll do the opposite, right? So I'll just double check I hadn't made a mistake anyway, and then just try that anyway. And that's about it. So pretty chuffed all around. Okay, so no time to hang around. I can obviously carry on fixing the dashboard in my leisure time, but for the car, it is off to paint. So I'm putting it down on its wheels for the first time in its complete build. So highly recommend these quick jacks. It's been up on the quick jacks for months. I managed to do everything I needed to the car whilst it is up on them, and now we can just drop it down, and that's it. Make sure those jacks drop all the way down on both sides, and there's rubber blocks. Just by removing the rubber blocks and then pushing the jacks into the middle, because you can't drive over them, there is just enough clearance under the nose, so I'm quite happy about that. Or I can pull the jacks completely out of the way. So that's it, time to get it on a trailer. So a bit of a disjointed video, this one. I've just been without the car for 4 or 5 weeks while Darren at 355 paint body shop has had it, and he's done a cracking job. So just a quick look now, just so I can show you what's going on. There you go. It's a bit dusty at the moment. They didn't know I was going to come so early. It's about 7 o'clock in the morning, but I think the guys there have done a cracking job. And this is a BMW Atlantis blue with anthracite stripes. So I hope you guys approve. We'll have a better look when I get back home. There we go. Even with a bit of dust, it's really popping in the sun, and I am over the moon. So a bit of a blue hint there for the aficionados. Every Cobra's got to be blue, right? And just a slightly modern touch there with the anthracite stripes. So I think that is quite subtle. Not quite a shadow hidden stripe, but it's pretty close. So really pleased with all that. Right, I'm going to wrap this up for a couple of hours journey back home, and I'll see you there. Well, apologies for the previous video. I was caught at sort of 7:30 in the morning and the sun was out, and I thought, wow, this looks really good. And I just thought I'd document picking it up and how it fits on the trailer, etc. So we're here, we're back in the garage. God, it's been a long, well, 5-6 weeks, so sorry if I've left you hanging there. But as you can see, Darren and his team at 355 Auto Shop up in Peterborough have done an incredible job. So I'm really made up. It's exactly how I wanted it. I saw a picture of this exact colour on a Cobra in the States, I think a Super Performance Cobra, and it looks stunning, so I thought I'd try and replicate it. I think it does need all the chrome work to add it, give it a little bit of a bling. The grey, the anthracite stripes were mostly driven because when I picked up this kit from someone who couldn't complete it, he had already got the wheels, so they got grey inserts on the wheels, so I think the grey is picked up quite nicely by the stripes. And this is I am quite a traditionalist and I do like the blues, and I did a Viking blue for my last Cobra, but I thought we'd just try and change it up a little bit, and we got a BMW Atlantis blue, so it's still got a bit of blue in there for those that think Cobras must all be blue. And I think it's fantastic. In the sun it's amazing. It is a metallic and it really pops, so I'm well made up with that. The stripes are amazing. They do a great job there. They just taper in slightly over the nose, which is brill, and it's such a neat job. It's great. So all good, nice and even as much as they can be, because it's very much not a measuring job. It's a aesthetically pleasing job lining up the stripes. So some things they can't really change because it's too in your eye line is where you've marked up your rear view mirror. The stripes have to be pretty evenly spaced there, and as they go down the back, but you know, they have to work with the body, with what comes from AK, which isn't totally symmetrical on both sides. So they know what they're doing. They do all of AK's paint jobs as far as I know. So it's come out really, really well. So all that's left now, well, we have to remake a lot of holes. So I'll be feeling from underneath where the holes are for like escutcheons. Of course, they filled in all the holes that I made for the kind of escutcheons for the roll bars, so that all has to be made and you know, re-drilled as carefully as I can so it doesn't chip any paint, etc. But on the whole, everything else is pretty much there. Obviously, hopefully we left enough room for like windscreen wiper motors, etc., and washers. So we always give it a little couple more mil when we're making those holes, because paint is surprisingly thick by the time you've had a few coats on there plus the clear coat. So now it's just time to put all the shiny stuff back on, mostly, and get all the dash working, etc., because I didn't have complete success with the dash, just enough to get it started. We're not going to put exhaust and stuff on because of course it still needs to go to the trimmers. Trimmers are pretty booked up, even though I try to keep my slot. So it may be that I help out and do the carpeting or something, but we'll see how we get on to see if they do it all for me. Anyway, let's get cracking and put some shiny stuff on. Well, it's 30 degrees in the garage, but we're doing okay, plodding along. So the first thing was I wanted to get these roll bars out of the way. Now, if you remember, I had quite a lot of difficulty putting these in, just to some slightly inaccurate welding on the sockets that they go into, because if the socket is just slightly off, you're not going to get the roll bar tube all the way in. So they had to be slackened right off inside the fixings. Let these socket home again and then do up the fixings, and it kind of brings it all into the correct place. So luckily after doing all that, my harness bolt still is nice and central to the hole. The other thing I'm doing then is re-drilling all the holes, because of course they are all blanked out by a filler, etc. So what I like to do, I go up to a 5mm hole, and then I use these kind of flat spring nuts to do them up. The reason for that is I don't like screwing into the paintwork in case it causes any cracks or anything, and also with the nut on the underside, you can finish the head in your preferred position, which you know, I like to do. I sort of follow it around the tube there, so you can see all the all apart from, I haven't actually done these ones, these are still loose, but the other ones should all be how I like to finish the heads, the position of the heads. So I do that, and that also gives you a little bit more flexibility, because if you've got fixed holes, then this ring is going to be fixed, whereas if you've got slightly larger holes, you can move this ring ever so slightly just to give you a mil gap everywhere, so there's no sort of undue squeaking and anything else when you're moving along. So that's all looking good. I've got the rear lights on here, along with the reflectors. These reflectors are on a separate ring that fits behind, just with a little arm, and then the reflector screws into the arm. So this is for IVA. However, I think they look pretty good to leave on there all the time, or they can be removed if you need that cleaner look. So that's it at the moment. So, you know, fairly enjoying it. I'm realizing again how difficult it is to move around a freshly painted car, and being ultra careful and not leaving anything on the side. But we are moving along. So I think I'll just continue, and if I come up with anything difficult, then I'll let you know. This may be difficult, re-drilling the holes up here, but hopefully we'll be okay. We'll just lay the vents over the top and remark the holes, so it should be good. And of course, other things we have to do, we can now fit the kind of shark fin vents in here, which I have covered in previous videos, but we'll do that again once I've got some suitable wood to mount them against. Usually use a little bit of oak, because it's not so susceptible to dampness. I have tried MDF and they promptly fell off after a first rain. So there we go. I'm going to do a few more other easy things. I'm going to take the front wheels off so I can get access, and do the front lights as well, and try and free up my very limited workspace. So I think we left off around here. So I've got all these vents fitted, which is really quite pleasing, along with the rear view mirror. Obviously the IVA rubber surround comes off probably after IVA. We've got the trumpets fitted in there. So just get some flexible hose, and it goes from the trumpets into the hole in the heater, in the demist. So that's all fine. What else has happened? Okay, so I've put the filler cap on, which is all quite good. Now with this filler cap, it was Brascroft's last one of this style, which is his original style, without a roller ball at the front, which is all very nice. But the fitting was a little bit lower, and it didn't allow me to use my normal domed screw like this, because it goes right down almost flush. So I had to use these hex kind of screws there, which is all good, apart from I could not find any without writing on the top, which a little bit disappointing. It's not all just shiny, but I'm sure I'll get over that. Looks pretty good. So that's all fine, and the last thing I'm doing here, probably for the end of this video anyway, is just fitting these reverse and fog lights. So got it all wired up, which is all fine. So the wire just comes in, and it goes actually down a gap where the jack lifters will be attached to. There's a little hole that brings it round, as you can see underneath, straight through a little rubber grommet that I've just opened up slightly, straight into the lights, a couple of spade connectors, so all good. Now how am I going to fix these? Well, I am going to, the correct place for this is just flush with the back floor. So what I'm going to do is put a smear, oops, I just lost that one down the back there. I'm going to put a smear of P38 on here. I'm going to cut out a little bit of spare bit of body here that I took out when I fitted the fan. So I'm just going to cut a small square off, fit it approximately like this. So basically I'm going to do a little smear of the P38 to fix this, and a little smear of P38 on the back of this. Push it all up from underneath, so it makes a good bond in the correct position, and that will be fixed just lovely. I think all hidden underneath the carpet. This is only going to be just along here, and I might actually just bevel the edge slightly, but it's pretty thin anyway, and that will be fine, and that will hold that in the right position. And it's still accessible. To replace the bulb, you unscrew the front lens here, so that will be no problem at all, and you'll still be able to swap the bulbs out. So I am pretty made up there. What am I going to do after this? Well, I think in the next video I'm going to be doing the front splitter, which I think I already put the fixings in for, or are they just for the front jack lifters? Probably. So I need to do that. So that's going to be a whole new video there, fitting the splitter. Typically I didn't have time before painting. I'm going to have to be ultra careful now it is all painted. But apart from that, we're all looking pretty good, and we need to get all this all sorted out, and maybe a little run up and down the road before it heads off to the trimmers. So I think we're actually going to leave it there for this video. I'm quite eager to get the video out because I know it's been quite a long gap between the last one. So join me again for the next video. We'll get the lights all set in here, and I'll show you how I do that, and we'll put on the windscreen, and then we'll get the dash fitted properly and all the wiring issues hopefully sorted out, and reverse the fan I think we needed to do as well, and maybe get a quick run up and down the road. Anyway, so join me for all that. Thanks for liking and subscribing. I'll see you again.